Hi, this is Jen, and today is your lucky day because I'm going to make you a cup of coffee. Isn't coffee wonderful? How many nicknames does coffee have, right? Cuppa, Joe, Mud, Dirt, Go Juice. Did I say Java? Java? I don't know. Okay, so I don't really want to make you a cup of coffee, but I want to make myself a cup of coffee to demonstrate many of the techniques that I've talked about in my past videos. So I thought, well, let me do that and kind of show you how I make coffee, right? Because the way I make coffee is not the same as the way everybody else makes coffee. I have to do things that work for me. It's my life and my choice, and I have to do what works for me. And as I tell my boys, if someone else has that much interest in what I'm doing, then they need to go get a life of their own, right? They're going to worry about how I do things. That's not my problem. I got to do what works for me. So let's get down to it. When I make a cup of coffee, the first thing I do is I find my coffee maker, right? Now I have my coffee pot. I want to make 1 cup of coffee because if I drink more than 1 at this time of night, bad things will happen at about 2 in the morning when I'm twitching. So I know that this coffee pot has lines on it, but I can't see those lines. So how am I going to determine the amount of water? Well, I leave that coffee pot where it is for now, or actually I'll bring it over to the sink. And the way I do it is I fill up the mug, right? I fill up my mug a little bit beyond where I'm going to have it. Now, remember I talked about a liquid level indicator. You can purchase them for about $12.95, which I really think sounds more like $13, doesn't it? Now that I say that out loud, but you can purchase a liquid level detector. Remember, you put that in a cup and it will beep, 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 beep when the level of liquid gets to where you're going to have it be. But for me, pouring cold water, I use the technique I call pour over the sink in case it spills, right? And then because this water's cold and because I'm the only one drinking it, I'm not going to pull out my liquid level indicator. I'm just going to put my finger in there and feel on the when the water comes to the level of my fingertip. That's where I know I want to be. Where do I go from there? Well, I'm going to put a little more water in, right? Because I need to make this cup of coffee count. Then I open my coffee pot, and again, for me, pouring happens over the sink. Whenever possible, I'm going to pour it over the sink because if I spill, no harm, no foul, right? I can always start over. Anyway, I pour, and then I know how much water I want for my coffee. So the first thing I do is my water. Then I walk over here to where my coffee pot is. And I know that the water has to go in the back, but how am I going to get it in the back, right? I have no hand-eye coordination. Well, I know that my coffee pot, I can feel where the little spout opens, right? And I know that it needs to go in this area in the back. So I line up the spout with the area in the back. And then when I have them lined up, I pour. And again, I use no vision. When I make coffee, I don't have the vision to use, right? But I know I can use my hearing and I can hear that I got that empty and that I got it in there. Then I put my coffee pot back and the water is ready. So then I come over here and I always keep things in the same spot, right? I'm not one to move things around. That's how I end up losing things or, even sometimes even injuring myself. I don't typically move stuff around. That would be cruel, right? What if I moved my furniture around every week? Well, anyway. Okay, so I know from my sense of feel what a coffee filter feels like. Even though I can't see it, I know because, well, it feels like a filter. It's got a funky texture to it, right? I bring it back over here and I put it in the top where I know it goes. And then I got to get the coffee. How do I know where the coffee is? I always keep it on the fridge. So let me go get that, right? I keep it up here. How do I know this is coffee? 2 ways. 1, the container has a particular shape to it. And 2, if I weren't sure, I could smell it. Coffee has a distinctive, wonderful smell, right? So I put my coffee out. Now I have to get a spoon. How can I tell which spoon I need? How can I tell? Through feel. I can also tell I'm in the wrong drawer. Through feel, right? Don't you think a small spoon and a big spoon feel different and have different weights? Sure. So I know I want the big spoon, and I always know that 1 cup of my coffee, I want 2 heaping spoonfuls of, um, of coffee. When I get a heaping teaspoon, I always put my other hand underneath, again, as kind of a spill guard, right? If it spills, it's going to land in my hand, and I can start all over. And I lead it up, and I dump it in, and I do it twice, right? This is going to be the best cup of coffee ever. I'm so sorry you won't be able to share with me. And I put it in there, and then I put the cover back on, close it up, and again, it's all done by feel. Because just because you don't have a sense of sight, don't let that stop you from doing what you want to do. Get creative. Get creative with coffee. Get creative with what you want to do. There was a time in my life when I used to think, how will I ever function without eyesight? And what I learned is that there are workarounds for a lot of things if we are willing to try and also use our other senses. And it happens naturally. When one sense is diminished, the others kick in. I do so much now with a sense of feel, a sense of hearing, my sense of touch, my sense of smell, right? I can feel that this needs to be locked in and the cover down. I can feel this one thing, and now listen, right? When the coffee is on and percolating, I know it's on, even if I forget which way the switch needs to go, because you can hear coffee percolating, okay? So give it a try. The next time you've got to do a task, don't feel compelled to have to do it the way everybody else does. Find your way that works for you, and enjoy your coffee. You deserve it. This is Jen signing off. Bye.